Good afternoon, everyone. We are the presenter number 6, and now we will be talking about the chapter 5, lesson 1, the moral challenges of globalization. And we have an objective here. After the discussion, we must define globalization from different viewpoints and identify the various issues it brings. First and foremost, let's read a quotation according to one of the Greek philosopher Bertrand Russell says that without ethics, man has no future. This is to say, mankind without them cannot be itself. Bertrand Russell is saying that ethics or moral principles are essential to humanity. Without them, people lose their sense of direction and purpose. Ethics guide how we treat each other, make decisions, and build a just society. Without ethical values, we become less human. We lose makes us truly human. Just for example, let's think that ang isang lipunan na walang etika o moralidad, kung saan okay lang ang magsinungaling, magnakaw, manloko, o manakit ng kapwa. Sa ganitong lipunan, hindi mo alam kung sino ang makakapagtiwalaan o makapagtitiwala sa isang tao. Lahat ng tao ay nag-iisip lang ng para sa kanilang sarili at walang mga respeto sa isa't isa. Sa ganitong sitwasyon, hindi mayaman o makapangyarihan ang isang bansa. Wala itong kinabukasan. Hindi uunlad ang lipunan kung ang mga tao ay walang malasakit sa tama at mali. Unti-unting mawawala ang pagkakaisa, tiwala at pagkatao ng bawat isa. Kaya ang punto ni Russell ay kung walang etika, hindi na tayo tunay na tao. Dahil ang pagiging makatao ay nangangahulugang marunong tayong makiramdam, makisama, at gumawa ng tama. Okay, let's go back to our topic, which is the globalization. But first, again, what is the globalization? Globalization stated here, it is the increasing interdependence of national through trade, technology, and cultural exchange. It is a multifaceted process with both positive and negative consequences. Globalization means that countries around the world are becoming more connected and dependent on each other. This happens through trade or buying and selling goods, technology like the internet, and culture exchange. The example of culture exchange is sharing food, music, traditions, and many more. It has a positive effect like faster communication, more jobs, opportunities, and access to more products. However, it also has negative effects such as a job loss in some countries, environmental damage, and loss of local culture. According to John Gray, globalization is seen as an interconnection sustained by technology between political, economic, and cultural world events, which has in this last space a hybridization effects on the culture, keeping them renewed and the development of culture identities. Ang globalisasyon ay pagkakaugnay-ugnay ng mga bansa sa buong mundo sa larangan ng politika, ekonomiya at kultura. At ito ay pinapalakas ng teknolohiya gaya ng internet at social media na napapanahong ginagamit ng mga tao ngayon. Sa aspeto ng kultura, hindi lang basta ginagaya ng mga bansa ang isa't isa. Sa halip, pinaghahalo o pinagkukumbine nila ang mga kultura. Tinatawag itong hybridization. Halimbawa, maaaring pagsamahin ang lokal na tradisyon at banyagang impluwensya para makabuo ng bago at mas makabago na kultura. Ibig sabihin, hindi nawawala ang kultura sa globalisasyon, bagkus ito ay napapaunlad at napapalago. According to a speaker of 2005, the term globalization should be used to refer to a set of social processes that are thought to transform our present social condition into one of globality. That means globalization refers to a collection of social processes that increase the interconnectedness and interdependence of people across the world. These processes influence economic, culture, political, and technological aspects of society gradually reshaping how individuals and communities relate to one another on a global scale. According also to Smith of 2005, globalization is inevitable and inexorable, and it is accelerating. Globalization is happening. It's going to happen. It does not matter whether you like it or not. It's happening and it's going to happen. Meaning, globalization is often seen as an unstoppable and irreversible force that continues to gain momentum. It is unfolding all around us, regardless of individual opinions or resistance.
For Friedman, the challenge of globalization for everyone is how to come up with a creative response to the conflict between the Lexus and the olive tree. Lexus is referring to the luxury line of Toyota, representing the drive for prosperity and development brought about by globalization, while the olive tree represents the identity and traditions brought by the ancient forces of culture, geography, tradition, and community. In a globalized era, people and communities across the world have become culturally connected. The distinction between the global and the local has become progressively blurred, and actions and events in one locality carry with it the potential to breed transnational and transgenerational impacts. It is precisely for these reasons that moral reflection about our responsibilities and obligations in a globalized age has become imperative.
According to Gilad Verberg, there are 8 issues of globalization. First is a depletion. Depletion means the globalization accelerates the use of natural resources, leading to the rapid depletion of essential materials like fossils, fuels, minerals, and fresh water. Number 2 is emissions. It increased industrial activity and transportation tied to globalization results in higher greenhouse gases emissions. 3 is unpredictability. Global systems become more interconnected and complex, making it difficult to predict outcomes or manage crises effectively. Number 4 is inflation. Globalization or supply chain disruption and resource scarcity can drive our prices, contributing to inflation worldwide. Number 5 is shift. It causes a shift in economic power, labor, markets, and cultural influence from one region to another. Number 6 is outsourcing. Business move production and services to countries with lower costs, which reduce domestic job opportunities. Number 7 is relocation. Entire industries may relocate to regions offering cheaper labor or fewer regulations, leading to economic decline in former industrial areas. And last is imbalance. Globalization can create severe economic and social imbalances between countries and within societies. Wealth and resources tend to concentrate in certain areas, while others face deepening poverty and limited opportunities.
I will discuss the ethical challenges of globalization. A. It concentrates wealth in the hands of the few, leaving the majority in the condition of poverty. Globalization has caused radical inequality, a deepening of exclusions brought about by inequalities that present the world as a fragmented space where some benefit at the expense of others. Examples: multinational corporations' profits. Large corporations often profit immensely from globalization, while workers in developing countries receive low wages and poor working conditions. The wealth generated disproportionately benefits shareholders and executives, not the workers producing the goods. B. From the consequentialist standpoint, the moral argument against globalization is that it fails to maximize happiness for the greatest number of people. Example: environmental damage. The pursuit of economic growth through globalization often leads to environmental degradation, such as pollution and climate change, which negatively impact a vast number of people worldwide. The short-term economic benefits outweigh the long-term cost of environmental damage borne by many. C. From a deontological standpoint, globalization is condemnable on the account that exploited populations are threatened as a means to an end and not as an end in themselves. Example: resource extraction. Globalization can drive unsustainable resource extraction in developing nations, leaving behind environmental damage and harming local communities. The communities are threatened as a means to acquire resources, disregarding long-term well-being and environmental sustainability. D. States are, in effect, increasingly losing their sovereignty and seen as morally condemnable intrusiveness of international economic organizations, characterized by a lack of accountability to the people, openly affected by the policies of monetary organizations and a tendency. Example: structural adjustment programs imposed by international financial institutions like the IMF and World Bank. This program often require countries to implement austerity measures that harm their populations, such as cuts to social services, to secure loans. This limits national sovereignty and prioritizes the interests of the lending institutions over the needs of the people. But not the least, E. Problem of handling the global environment to prevent a global ecological collapse, a sin that threatens humanity with the trend of annihilation.